Hi, welcome to Antiques Down Under, our television program on antiques and collectibles.
We're searching for incredible collections, priceless rarities and curious artefacts. And along the way, we'll meet some people with the most unbelievable treasures. This time on Antiques Down Under, an Aladdin's cave of toys.
Robots, more robots. Claudia shows off her collection.
We discover the Gutenberg Bible and Andy Warhol at Douglas Stewart Fine Books.
And Claudia enters the glorious world of Art Deco.
Today we're here at Leuralla, up in the Blue Mountains, this magnificent 1912 time capsule. And I'm with Elizabeth Evatt, and the Evatt family are why we have this time capsule. We're in this magic music room.
Yes,
and
this
some
room is
famous
wonderful.
people here.
Absolutely, and it was a room designed for music, which was so important in those days. We've had some very illustrious people come here, Eugene Goossens and the great Solomon, the pianist, and Neville Cardus, who was a music and a cricket critic, and he loved coming up here. Yes.
And you've also got something very special at the fireplace.
Oh, we have. Yes. That's a wonderful fire screen, which was actually made by Francis de Groot, who, when he wasn't cutting the ribbon of the Harbour Bridge, he was a furniture maker. Right. And it's actually a rather fine piece.
It is absolutely stunning piece.
It is.
And it's one of the many treasures that we have here to see today. Let's have a look at some of the wonderful toys around here, Elizabeth.
Good. Well, these are wonderful funfair toys. They're made by an American company called J. Cheen, and they're very, very popular in the 50s, as fun parks were. Ferris wheel and wonderful rides of all sorts. They were very, very popular, and I think we've collected just about every one that they made.
Incredible.
Yes.
Isn't it? And they've got something special over here as well.
Over here, I must show you this. This is a wonderful warship, HMS Terrible, which was created by the German, and bear in mind the Germans made a wonderful tin plate. That is a model of HMS Terrible, with all the sailors marching up and down and on patrol and manning that ship. That was a very exciting buy for us.
I was hoping I was going to see a bluebird when I came here.
Well, you'll see lots of other vehicles, but not a bluebird.
My father got me a bluebird when I was a young boy, and I can remember playing with it all the time. It was just
well, I think memories are very important, and that's one thing that happens here. Yeah, people see something, and all of a sudden, it rings a bell and brings back lots and lots of childhood memories. Most of all the toys that you see here really existed in time, and I think that's very important. For example, Märklin, the great German tin plate maker, they made models of the various trains, engines, locos, rolling stock, etc. And one of the most amazing things that was ever made, that actually was made in full size, was the Zeppelin rail car. Now, this looks like a Zeppelin that flew in the sky, but in 1931 they actually made models. You can see how dangerous potentially it was with the propeller whizzing around. So goodness knows how many customers and ticket collectors and conductors were put at risk. But it was not destined to last very long, but in that time that it did last, Märklin made a few models. Now, one of the interesting things that we were told when we purchased this was that Hermann Goering, of infamy, actually had a model, and it is felt that this model that we were fortunate enough to buy was that very same model. So you can see, Gregory, even Goering loved his toys.
And everybody loves their toys.
I'm with Chester from Darrenberg Wines, and Chester is an avid collector, aren't you, Chester?
Yeah, way too much.
Yes. Now, Chester's going to try and guess our what is it item. Here we are, Chester.
Well, it obviously spins around with the poles, so it's very much like a compass, but it doesn't have north, south, east and west. It looks pretty old. It must be from the 1800s, I would say. Yeah, it's some sort of compass, but not sure why it doesn't have north, south, east and west.
Okay, this is a pocket navigator, and it's for a pilot to fly through clouds in the very early days of aviation.
I do think it has something to do with direction. Without any indicators on it, like north, south, east and west, I haven't got a clue. If I turn this way, it doesn't seem to follow me either.
No, it doesn't, does it?
No. So it remains fairly static. Can't work out what a rotating needle will do if it doesn't follow a direction.
I must admit, Chris, it took me a long time to find out what it was too.
Oh, right. Did you guess it in the end?
No.
Well, I feel a lot better about that.
Do you want to guess the mystery object? Head to our Facebook and Instagram pages to enter.
We have a very eclectic household, and one of my passions is robots. Tin, plastic, wind-up, battery-operated, from the 1940s to the 1990s. And I think it's because I grew up watching Lost in Space on TV. I fell in love with this guy, the robot, the bubble-headed booby.
Warning! Warning!
The robot was more than a mechanical man. He had a great sense of humour. He could sing, play the guitar, and he had real human emotions.
Oh, I feel so miserable. Oh. I compute, you compute, we all compute. Who turned out the lights? Which way did they go, partner? Whee!
I'm a nostalgic collector, and I think it's because I sold all my toys when I was a teenager, and, well, I've been overcompensating ever since.
The word robot was first coined in the play RUR, or Rossum's Universal Robots, by the Czech writer Karel Čapek in 1920. The play debuted in the United States in 1922 with a young Spencer Tracy playing a robot. The word robot means forced labour. The idea of the robot has always inspired. Friend or foe, designers had a lot of fun coming up with robot costumes. Lilliput Robot was the first mass-produced robot toy. It was created around 1939 in Japan. Originals are very hard to come by. One sold at auction a few years ago for over $3,000. Now this is a repro I picked up in the 1990s. Maybe he'd like a haircut like mine.
This is Atomic Robot Man from 1949, and he's the second known robot toy.
Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon captured children's imaginations in the 1930s, and in the 1950s, the space race made it real. The launch of Sputnik and the idea of astronauts in space saw new and wonderful space toys and robots come onto the market.
The 1956 film Forbidden Planet introduced Robbie the Robot, and for many, this is the Holy Grail. The Japanese manufacturer Nomura didn't have the rights to use the name Robbie, so they called him Mechanized Robot. This is not an original. This is a reissue from the 1990s. But look at these pistons go. The golden age for collecting Japanese robots is the 1950s into the 60s, and this little guy is Zuma. He's from 1954, and look, he's got a little spanner in his hand. This guy is ready for action. We love a robot with a surprise. Meet Dino Robot. Here's Astro Boy, the boy robot with a big heart. The pieces in my collection may not be worth a king's ransom, but they bring me so much joy, and that's something you can't put a price on.
Douglas, rare books and manuscripts is what brought me here today, and I believe you have an incredible rare piece.
That's right, Greg. If you want to start with rare books, let's start at the beginning. Here's a leaf of the Gutenberg Bible, printed in 1455.
Wow. It's incredible. What can you tell me about it?
Prior to the invention of movable type in the Western world, if you wanted a copy of a book, you either had to write it out yourself or pay a scribe to write it for you. What Gutenberg did is he invented a system of movable type, so individual letters, that could be set and reset, and multiple pages printed off all at once.
And how many of these would he have done?
Well, back at the time, they printed about 180 copies of the Gutenberg Bible, but there's only about 48 that are known to have survived, most of which are incomplete.
And the impact of his invention on printing was worldwide.
Yeah, well, the impact of Gutenberg's technology is incalculable. Basically, it brought literature, books and learning from the realm of the aristocracy and the nobles down to everyday people.
And how did you come to find this?
Well, for the last few hundred years, Gutenberg Bibles and pages of Gutenberg Bibles have been some of the most sought after things from book collectors. I managed to source this from another rare book dealer in Europe, but it originally came from a copy of the Gutenberg Bible, which was disassembled during the Napoleonic period.
What sort of value is it today?
Well, Gutenberg Bible leaves have been appreciating quite consistently over the last 550 years. But today, if you wanted to buy a leaf of the Gutenberg Bible, this would set you back 220,000 Australian dollars.
That's incredible. Well, we've heard a lot today about the Gutenberg Bible. I've heard a bit about it, but I've learnt quite a lot today, Douglas. Thank you very much.
That's a pleasure.
Let you go over and have a chat to Claudia about something entirely different.
Andy Warhol's Campbell soup can. Now this is about the closest I've ever got to the one. Until now. Douglas, is this the real thing?
It certainly is, Claudia. This is an original Andy Warhol silk screen from the Campbell soup can series.
What year are we talking about?
This was created by Andy Warhol in 1968, and it's the first of his series of Campbell soup can prints.
Why is he so important to us today? Why do we feel so connected to him?
I think Andy Warhol understood that art didn't have to be up there on a pedestal on the white wall of the gallery all the time. He came from an advertising background, and so he saw the beauty in commercial design. The soup can was something that he saw around him every day. He actually ate Campbell soup for lunch every day for 20 years. And it was the perfect object to transform the everyday object into an art object.
And when he was doing these mass productions, he was doing them at the factory.
The factory, that's right. The very name of his studio signifies his interest in mass replication, taking the individualism of the artist's hand out of the picture and creating a system, a process of mass producing art, art for the masses.
So if I had my purse with me today, what do you think I'd be paying for this piece?
We would take 295,000 of your Australian dollars if you wanted to buy this Warhol today, Claudia.
Oh, what a pity I'm only carrying US today. Warhol's prices have gone through the roof, haven't they?
They certainly have, Claudia. Recently, one of his portraits of Marilyn Monroe sold for almost 280 million Australian dollars.
Holy dooly.
Perhaps his most famous portrait wasn't of a celebrity at all. It was of a can of soup.
I'll drink to that.
Claudette, my love of rare books has brought us here today.
And my love of art.
Well, you couldn't have picked two more exciting figures in the world of books and art than Gutenberg and Warhol, revolutionaries in their field, 5 centuries apart.
Jan Hatch, Peter Sheridan, what I love about you is the coming together of two passions in a relationship. Here we have this perfect combination of passion and joy for Art Deco.
It started from the beginning, actually, when we first met each other. Pete had lived in a Victorian house and I'd lived in a sort of country cottage in England, and when we started shopping for things to bring together into our home, we found that we really both loved Art Deco.
I can remember I was having a email correspondence with you and I said, I was at an exhibition, I saw the most stunning Lalique budgerigar vase, and I send you a picture that I'd taken in a museum and you send me a picture back going, here's ours.
This is only part of Lalique's world. Lalique was a most extraordinary jeweller and glassmaker, but his vases are extraordinary, with all different animals. On these there are budgerigars, grasshoppers, fish, beetles. He had a wonderful capacity to create different shapes, and in the interpretation he would have a whole host of animals.
Well, we are sitting on the most stunning 1930s Art Deco furniture. How important is authenticity to you? Is this the original fabric?
It's not, actually. The original fabric was very scratchy, and we saw this fabric on a beautiful piece of furniture in Los Angeles. The interesting thing is that these cushions are sprung, and what we're used to now is foam or down or whatever. Everything is sprung, everything is solid wood, and it's almost 100 years old.
You have the most incredible globe collection, from little tiny ones to a very, very large one. Tell me about those.
I bought the globe, the large globe, in the early 80s, and it was probably my first antique. The interesting thing about it is that it is from the early 30s. It's a German shipping globe. On the map itself, you can see that the Germans were colouring in the countries as they took them. So Czechoslovakia, Poland are all coloured in the red that Germany was coloured. The rest of the collection is mainly miniature globes. I originally thought they must be maritime things that people had on the ships and so forth, but they're actually like taking an iPad to the pub. It was, in those days, something you would take and show people Cook's voyages on something you could take out of your pocket. So they were a fashion item. And they made these mainly in England and Holland and some on the continent from about 1700 up till about the mid-1800s.
When we think of Art Deco, we think of beautiful, elegant ladies with their hands above their heads. You've got some stunning, stunning Art Deco sculptures.
Almost all of these sculptures are from around 1925, and they're in ivory and bronze, and they were short runs, about 30 of them each in a group. And so in these sculptures you can see the changes from into Art Deco and the stylised sculptures and particularly the clothes that they wear, and it's all around 1925. And so virtually we've got, I think, 6 or 7 of these sculptures, and every one of them is dated exactly the same time.
1925, because that's when the Grand Exposition in Paris introduced Art Deco to the world. Have you ever vehemently disagreed on a piece?
I just decided about 3 or 4 years after we got together that I would just say yes to everything. And so we have a very large collection of stuff.
It's a good thing you said yes.
It is, yes.
So now it's time to reveal, what is it? Ilonka, please tell us what it is.
Certainly, my pleasure. It is silver and it is a nutcracker. You would place your nut inside here You would wind it down and it would gently come down and crack your nut. You would most likely use it for something like a walnut or a hazelnut, certainly not a macadamia, and then it would remain on your table as an elegant piece.
So, it's a nutcracker. Next time on Antiques Down Under, we experience 8,000 years of Greek history, art and culture.
And Claudia finds a guitar collection that hits all the right notes.
Gregory has gold fever in the hills of Adelaide.
And I meet with fellow antiques dealer Elizabeth Cyber.
Oh, I love an auction room. Sold!
And we'll be back next time on Antiques Down Under.